Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this one I'm going to be reviewing Fallout 4. Now I think I've played enough of this game by now to put out a detailed review. I've been waiting this long because I wanted to be playing it just to get the right feel, and I think I've got it just all about sussed in my head. So to start off with, I think that Fallout 4 is a great RPG. Bethesda are renowned for their great RPGs, and Fallout 4 is no exception. It is a great game, in my opinion at least, and it is definitely worth picking up. I wasn't disappointed by it because I wasn't exactly 110% hyped for it, but what I got was amazing. What my experience with the game was, I loved it. It was just my sort of game. I mean, I don't like apocalypse games, but Bethesda can make me want to bloody play an apocalypse game, even though it's not my style. So for that, GG to Bethesda, because they obviously know what they're doing with their games, and Fallout has great gameplay. I found it to be a little bit easier than Fallout 3 or New Vegas. However, I didn't find it to be excessively challenging, and it was challenging in places, but it was never impossible. There was always a way around it. The boss fights are really quite fun to do. They're quite satisfying to do as well, even if you do get wrecked by a death claw that may or may not be too high a level for you. I find that being able to take on a boss depending on your level is quite good, and there are plenty of opportunities to exploit your enemy's weaknesses in the game as well, so which is of course really handy when coming to sort of bosses, like boss-like fights and etc. So you know what I mean, like talking like Swan and stuff like that. So I really do think that Fallout 4 is a really fun game, a game that I could lose hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into, and I have definitely invested hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into it, and as you can see, I have streamed hours and hours and hours and hours of it, and I didn't get bored very quickly. So there's one thing I would really like to point out about the game that isn't as great, is the complete lack of quests. There are quests, and they're not 110% uncommon, but they are rare at times, and the game can, the fact that there are hardly any quests at times can sort of feel a bit boring after you get bored of 16 hours of killing raiders, which is fun as fuck, but you need the quests really to add some variety to the game, and there aren't as many quests in this one as there are in previous Fallout games, which I find to be a major downfall to this game. However, there are so many different ways it brings it up. The story is also quite short, and that's quite disappointing, to be honest, because you'd expect there to be a long story, but it's actually quite short. Not overly disappointing, but doesn't feel great, to be honest. However, it's the saddest story in any Fallout game that I've played, because basically your character is looking for their son. Yeah, pretty tragic in the making right there. All that stuff aside, the graphics for the game they are quite nice. The sky is pretty stunning at times, the ground is pretty stunning, the reflections, the lighting, it's definitely been improved on previous games, and the character faces are so much better. Yet some characters, like Piper, still look like a fucking brick, but I thought that this was a good upgrade for Fallout, and it felt different to previous Fallout games because of the graphics upgrade, sort of like how Skyrim felt different to previous Elder Scrolls games, sort of thing. So that's not a bad thing at all. The variety of enemies, guns and other things, the variety that you find in the world overall, I find to be quite good as well. Like you can find super mutants, death claws, different types of each, mutant hounds, or different types of them, different types of mirelurks, which are all bloody irritating creatures because they're just so hard to kill. Different variations of every single weapon and everything else, which is also a really cool feature in the game. You can also modify your weapons and modify your armor and etc. and rename them, which is really awesome, and crafting is definitely a handy tool. You can also create your own settlement, which I find to be pretty interesting. However, I have not actually tried that because it just doesn't seem like something I would do. The gameplay is fun. The fact that they've got some kill moves in the game now makes it interesting. Like you've got like kill cams sort of thing, so it's really, really cool. The conversation system in Fallout 4 is definitely a lot stronger than any previous Bethesda RPG game, since your character is voice acted. It might remove the RPG element a little bit, but it does sort of give your character a bit of life, and I find that to be quite interesting. And also, you can interact with people more and feel like it's more alive, and your conversations feel better. I just find it to be quite cool. Also, Codsworth being able to say over 1,000 names is also pretty cool, one of them being John Cena and Fuckface. So, you know, those are definitely worth trying. But yeah, that is essentially my review for Fallout 4. But anyway, guys, overall I would give the game a 9 out of 10 for me. I mean, some people would disagree and say, hey, it's not that good, but I think it's one of the best games of 2015, because 2015, like 2014 before it, has been a pretty poor year for games, if you ask me. I mean, the only decent games in 2015 for me were Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Just Cause 3 and Fallout 4, given that I haven't played The Witcher 3, so that's not actually bad. But I've heard that's pretty good as well. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, tell me what you think about this game, and I'll see you all in the next one. So yeah.